Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Today is our very first lesson in May for our blended learning. So I decided to change things up with our PowerPoint or the presentation for today. So if you notice what's different, I want you to write that down when you submit your answers to me, and you will get a couple extra points on Class Dojo. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started for today. All right, so today you will be completing math and science. You have a spiral review, problems of the day, your weekly science assignment, and some practice on Education Galaxy or Clever. All right, so for your spiral review today, 4 questions. I want you to just look at these. These are just basically a review of what we've been going over or what we went over at the beginning of the year. So this should be super easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. So our first one says round to the nearest 10. So you have 871. And they want you to take this number and look in the tens place. And they want you to round it to the nearest 10. Okay? So I want you to think really hard about nearest 10. All right? Number 2, 7 times 3. They want you to find the product of this, which is 7 times 3. Number 3, a teacher puts 18 students into 3 equal rows. How many students are in each row? I want you to think about how the desks are in the classroom. Even though I don't have you in rows, I have you in groups of students. Like you and 3 other friends. So I want you to think about that when it says the teacher put the students into 18 students into 3 equal rows. I want you to think about that and visualize it, and then that will help you with your answer. And then draw a model of 4/5. Okay, so this is any interpretation of how you see 4/5. All right, so I'll go ahead and give you a hint. 5 total things, and 4 are going to look a little different. Okay. All right, so today we're starting something completely different. Today you're going to be this week, not just today. This week you're going to be comparing decimals. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, no, 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 no. I promise you, you know how to do this. It is super easy if you just think about it and take a second before you answer. All right, so before we even get started, I want to do some vocabulary review. This is what you need to know. First, let's go over what is a decimal. A decimal is a number containing a decimal point, it looks like a period, that separates a whole from fractional place values, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on. All that's super wordy, but I promise you I'm going to show you in a second what that looks like. All right, and then just a refresher, greater than, less than, or equal to. Remember your greater than symbol, your less than symbol, and I always told you it makes the L with your left hand, and of course, equal to. All right, so some helpful tips before we even get started. I want for you to know what the numbers are when you're looking at a number with a decimal. Okay, so here's our decimal point, and we have 254. But that's not just any number. It's involved with this right here. It has a decimal. So the first number after the decimal, this 2, is in the tenths place. It's got the TH at the end, okay? The second number would be in the hundredths place, and then the next number, or the third number, would be in the thousandths place, okay? So just a quick little review of what that looks like. All right, so I put in an example here so we can kind of see what these problems would look like if we were to have a complete visual, okay? So all you're doing is comparing 2 numbers. That's it. They just happen to have a decimal in them. But I have faith in you and I know you can do it. All right, so your first number, the blue, represents 0.25. Okay? And then your purple is 0.52. Now, which one is greater than, less than, or are they even equal to? I don't know. Let's see if we can figure it out. So you're probably thinking, well, it's got a decimal. But guess what? What is this number right here? 25. So you still can think of it that way. So I made a little visual to help you think about it. So the blue represents this one right here, and the purple represents our second one. So let's look at it. 25. How can I show 25? And just for reference, this whole image is 100 little squares, okay? So I came on my paper and I decided to divide them up, and I want to show you which one is greater than, less than, or are they equal to. So I came over here and I said, all right, I'm going to make 0.25, I'm going to make that my blue. So I came over here and I shaded in 25. So I went 10 plus 10 more, that's 20, plus 5, that's 25. And then I picked another color and I decided to shade that one purple. And I was like, okay, I gotta do 52 now. So I did 10 plus 10 more, 20 plus 10 more, 30 plus 10 more, 40 plus 10 more, 50. Then I went, oh, I only need 52, so I just need to color it 2 right here. So then I looked at my numbers and I looked at my picture and I go, well, clearly the purple is the bigger one. So when I'm looking at it, I know that 0.25 is less than 0.52, okay? But you also know that because look, 0, 0, oh, those are the same numbers. A 2 and a 5. Which number comes first, 2 or 5? That would be 2, so we know that 2 is smaller. All right, so now we're going to even go in a little further. We're going to do another one. All right, so I made a little chart here and I tried to color code it to make it super easy for y'all to look at and to gain better understanding. So what we're going to do is it just says let's compare. And up here at the top, I have the greater than, the less than, and the equal to symbol. And I put a little hint right here for you. Look at the number behind the decimal, okay? So we have 0.75 compared to 0.8. And automatically, I know somebody's going to think, oh, this one has more numbers. But let's look at it first before we get too far ahead of ourselves, all right? So the hint is you're going to look at the number after the decimal place, okay? So we have our decimal right here, and I drew an arrow. The number after the decimal in this one is what? 7, okay? And the number after this decimal is what? 8. Perfect. So now, which is bigger? Is 7 the bigger number? Or is 8 the bigger number? I don't know. Let's look at it. So what I did was I came down here and I made me a little number line. Didn't have to stretch my numbers out too far. I just wanted to go 0 through 10. And I did my best to remember, space them out when you have your number line, okay? So we're looking and I know, oop, here's 7. Where's 8? 8's right after it. So 8 is a bigger number. So I come back up here and I go, well, this one had a 5 and this one doesn't have anything right here. It has an imaginary 0. That's what it actually has. So technically, even though this one has an extra number, one more number than this one is actually bigger, okay? Why? Because if we look at, once again, if we look at the number after the decimal, 7 is smaller than 8. So 0.75 is less than 0.8, okay? It is super important that you take your time because some of these problems will have the 0 and they'll have the decimal point and they'll have 2 numbers right here and then they'll have just 1 right here. And so you're automatically going to think that this one is going to be smaller. But it's important for you to really look at your problems before you answer, okay? Remember, look at the number behind the decimal. That is key, all right? So today, I know that I've given you 6 problems along with the 4 problems that you have for your spiral review. However, you are all extremely smart, so I know that you can handle it and I know that you can do it. So, for these, I've made it super simple for you. You can either, two options, you can write the entire thing and put the symbol in between, or if you don't want to do that, you can just number your paper 1 through 6 and you can just put the answer. So where the question mark is, you could write greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay? So those are your two options. All right? You can write the whole thing, or you can just give me what the question mark would be. So would that be greater than, less than, or equal to? I'm not going to be particular about it. Whatever is going to work for you, as long as I can clearly see your answer. All right? So let's go ahead and look at this. We have 6 problems. They all have 0 as the first number and then the decimal. And then we have some numbers after, all right? I want you to think really hard, and I want you to look at them before you answer. And I really want you to focus in on numbers 3 and number 5, okay? Those may cause a little hiccup, but I know you can do it. So really focus in on 3 and 5, all right? Remember, comments, questions, or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Y'all did excellent last week with learning the material, so I know that you can do it again this week. I have complete and utter faith in you. All right, and so I actually have some math videos that are introducing decimals, and they are comparing decimals, and I really want y'all to go watch these. These will definitely help you with trying to come up with the answers to these problems. I promise it will help, okay? All right. So another cute little image right here. I think this looks like me. I tried to come up with create one that looks as much like me as possible. And I think yellow's a nice spring color, so I figured why not. Remember, show me your work, Class Dojo, or text message. All right. Now, for all you geniuses out there, I need you to practice 30 minutes on iReady Pathway, please. 30 minutes. All right, I can't stress it enough. All right. Now, for your science test this week, remember, just once you do it once, you're free to do it again, but I need to see it at least once. I need you to construct a model to show how an object can be seen with light is reflected from the surface and enters the eye. All right, so I know you're probably thinking, Miss Washington, what does that mean? When you're looking at something, light is hitting your eye. How does that reflect? How does it look? I want you to think about when you're looking through, if you hold up like a glass to a window and the light reflects, how does that light hit your eye? What do you see? What does the image look like? Okay? Science videos, of course, that you can go watch. All right, we've come to the end. Remember, you can do this. Got my little power symbol right here. You got this. Remember, you are smart, you are loved, you are missed. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I want you to have a wonderfully, beautifully blessed Monday, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.